Let's begin the broadcast with our top story. The BSF has hit back at the Trinamool Congress for the slander campaign against its personnel. Remember, unsavory comments were passed by a TMC MLA Udayan Guha while a discussion was underway in the West Bengal Assembly, where he alleged that women were inappropriately frisked by BSF personnel at the border. The BSF has hit back, calling these allegations baseless. We have our reporters and senior editors joining us in the broadcast. We have Tamal and Shreyasi and our senior editors Ankit Tyagi and Pradeep Datta as well. Let's go across to Ankit first. Ankit, our brave hearts do not think twice before sacrificing their lives for the integrity of the nation, to protect the lives of the citizens, and not just when it comes to the borders, but it also comes to the crisis. We've always seen them assisting the administration and the governments. Ankit, can you hear me?
All right, so this story, Swati, that was in fact we have been continuously focusing on and following. It just now gives you a sense of how this whole the West Bengal government versus the centre battle is now encompassing the security forces as well. BSF, just look at these visuals that we are showing you. Has been there a security force standing with the citizens of the country in every hour of need, being there when there are natural calamities, when there are disturbances, and of course helping out citizens. Few of these visuals that we have in fact taken out, these are from just a couple of years back, but these are visuals from West Bengal itself, where the BSF soldiers, the troopers, are seen helping people out, giving them medical aid and providing them all assistance. For politics which is going on between the West Bengal government and the centre, the image of the force is taking a beating, or at least there is an attempt to showcase the force in a bad light. This is where the problem lies. Once again, a few more visuals of the BSF helping out people, poor people across the country, for a force which has been there at the forefront, trying to in fact stand with the citizens in every hour of need for petty political gains. If you try and taint the image of that force, it shows very poorly on the West Bengal government.
Absolutely. The veterans are outraged and they have alleged that this is nothing but a slander campaign against them. Before we go across to our reporters, we also have some reactions lined up. Let's take a listen.
This is my experience. Not only my experience, it is the experience of our people, the border people. They know that how they behave, the BSF people. They behave rudely with the border people. And now the central government is thinking to bring them up to 50 kilometers. BSF किसी को जाने नहीं देता, किसी को आने नहीं देता. अगर कोई कभी उधर से आता है, कोई जाता है, तो उसका टॉर्चर करता है BSF को.
कैसा टॉर्चर सर?
टॉर्चर फिजिकली हैरेस करता है.
Border Security Force is a disciplined force, and in Border Security Force Act we have a very powerful act. Any act of indiscipline, any act of misdemeanor is not taken lightly. Inquiries are conducted, and wherever any misdemeanor is proved, stringent action is taken. We have a functional democracy in our country. CRPC has given power to the local police to register FIR. Whenever such incident takes place, not only we conduct our inquiries, wherever a criminal offence is made out, we also go and report to the police for registration of FIR and for initiation of criminal action. This right is available to anyone who alleges against security force, whatever the nature of security force may be. I can assure you, we have a zero tolerance policy in such matters. This is taken very, very seriously, and we are committed to it.
Well, our reporters Tamal, Shreyasi and Pradeep are with us on the broadcast. We also have Major General G.D. Bakshi joining us. Let's first go across to Major General G.D. Bakshi. Isn't it unfortunate, sir? Your first response on what the BSF calls is a slander campaign against it, and the comments that were made by Mr. Udayan Guha. Shreyasi and Pradeep are with us on the broadcast. We also have Major General G.D. Bakshi joining us.
Hello.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you perfect. This is a slanderous attack on the central paramilitary force. The, Border Security Force is an organization that has served the nation with great credit and honor. It is the first strip line that stands in the face of enemies on the west, in the east, all over the country. And, now it is most needed to be deployed in those sensitive areas. It was deployed in the Punjab. It is deployed in the Punjab along the borders. In the time of that Khalistani terror movement, its brief was extended well to the rear, 50 kilometers to the rear. And it performed amicably, it performed with great credit. We, in view of the enhanced threat of infiltration,
and the others trying to pour in across the West Bengal frontier, and we now have information, hard intelligence in fact, that Pakistan's ISI is trying to recruit and to send in terrorists, infiltrate terrorists from Nepal, from Bangladesh into India. And, people are sent into Bangladesh to get training, to go abroad to the Middle East, to get trained, to go across to Pakistani camps via Bangladesh. This is the most essential step now required in the interests of national security, and trying to create a ruckus on so-called human rights violations, so-called misdemeanors, which seem to be concocted charges against a central paramilitary force, a force of the central government, which is required to guard, to protect our frontiers. It cannot be hobbled. It cannot be hampered. It cannot be demonized. This is a standard practice. Demonize the army, demonize the BSF, demonize the CRPF. Don't let them fight. Don't let them do their job. Don't let them take action against the anti-national elements, the terrorists, the infiltrators, the spies, saboteurs, etc.
Right.
How will they function if their activity is hampered like this?
Right, so you're saying this is nothing but an attempt to malign the force and to demonize the force. Let's take a response from Anirban Banerjee on that. Anirban Banerjee, respond to those charges.
First of all, no force in our country, no armed force in our country is above the law. And since India is not a military country, it's not ruled by the military or the army or any armed force, it is ruled by the constitution. Even the BSF is not above criticism. If there are allegations, then criticisms from the public representatives of any party will be there. Mr. Udayan Guha is a public representative from the district of Kuch Bihar, which is a border district. The people he represents, they have to face the BSF on a daily basis. And if there are allegations of human rights violation, then you cannot simply blow them away by saying so-called human rights, because this is an international convention that India has to cater to. The BSF has been under the watch of international human rights organizations. Even our friendly neighbor Bangladesh, in the month of August 2020, had raised concerns about the activities of the BSF.
Raising a concern and leveling allegations are two very different things. I want to bring in Pradeep Datta here as well. Pradeep, many are also questioning on what grounds, what is the basis for leveling these allegations against the forces, against our brave hearts. And at the cost of repeating myself, I'll say this again. Those who have been serving the nation, those who do not think twice before sacrificing their lives to protect the integrity of the nation, for the safety of the citizens of the country, and they have always assisted the administrations and state governments in the hour of need during any crisis.
I think what is more important is that attitude of gratitude, and we should show gratitude toward they are 24 guardians who are taking bullets on their body. They are trying to ensure peace, prosperity, safety and security of the people. Good that you want to raise concern. I want to tell Anirban that he was saying that that if there are charges, nobody is above law. But then you can't just make small aberrations as a thumb rule and then try to project and portray the whole force in a bad light. What actually the legislator was trying to do, he was trying to portray the whole force in bad light. Everybody knows that forces played, whether it was the terrorism in Punjab or whether it was in Kashmir Valley. I still remember those days where many of those areas were called the liberated zone. Nobody used to enter those areas. But BSF persons, they did not bother about their safety because of their unwritten at any cost. They are going to enter those areas and make them free of those terrorists who are hiding there and making the life of the people hell. But unfortunately, you people will keep on criticizing and politicizing the valor of the troops, and you will try to portray and project them in bad light. One odd incident can happen anywhere, and already there is a CRPC. I don't think that we need international humanitarian agency for that. There is a CRPC, there is a police force. Then they can already lodge an FIR and take action against them. Who is stopping you from doing that? But unnecessarily trying to politicize things and trying to project them in bad light, you're only going to encourage an important element, because it's the first line of defense, and their job is to ensure that no intruder, no terrorist is able to cross over to this side. But you want to just, like an ostrich, you want to dig your head inside the sand. And then
let's also go across to Shreyasi. West Bengal, in fact, is the second state to pass a resolution against the centre's decision when it comes to extension of the BSF's jurisdiction. Now, Shreyasi, the allegation is that just to politicize the entire issue, such unsavory comments have been passed, and BSF, in fact, has hit back saying we are a professional force. These charges are frivolous, they are baseless.
Well, that's right, Swati. West Bengal yesterday became the second state in the country to pass a resolution against the BSF's extended jurisdiction here in the country. In West Bengal, of course, now that has been extended to up to 50 kilometers. Senior leaders of both the TMC and the BJP were speaking on this particular issue inside the Vidhan Sabha. And the BJP, of course, had very clearly stated that this resolution should be taken back, while the Trinamool Congress not only raised the issue that it was not discussed with the state before implementation, and secondly, the fact that the BSF gets extended jurisdiction at a time when the 2024 elections are coming up, and there could be a possible chance that the BSF would be looking at area domination. So, of course, very high charges being, leveled against the BSF by the Trinamool Congress, but the BSF today,
let's also go across to Tamal. Now, Tamal, the question is, where are these allegations coming from? Is this just in the wake of the resolution that has been passed by the West Bengal Assembly challenging the centre's decision, or rather against the centre's decision of extending BSF's jurisdiction?
Well, Swati, making allegations stating to the floor of the Assembly mean that there has to be some substance behind the allegations, and that's exactly what BSF nobody is above law. BSF, not for once, during the press conference, has suggested that they are wholly, not for once did they say that. All that they're saying that if there had been any allegations of misconduct, there are areas and authorities where the grievances should be taken and can be addressed, and they have zero tolerance towards such indiscipline or misconduct. Have there been concerns raised with BSF? BSF says they have not received any. That's one. Second of all, having spoken to officials on camera, off camera, both, they are suggesting to make an allegation about one case, one individual could be okay, but to cast aspersion on the entire institution in a way demoralizes the spirit of the forces who are manning the border guards. There could be language issue, there could be issue about how sensitive they are, sensitization, there could be scope for improvement, but to level allegations and cast aspersion on an institution is something that BSF finds absolutely objectionable. Other political parties have also reacted.
Absolutely.
So on the very quick point, I asked this pointed question to BSF that there are allegations that they have been used for politics, and BSF quietly responded that they are neither this side or that side.
Banerjee, you said BSF is not above the law. The BSF officials, the personnel, never suggested anything of that sort. In fact, they said that if there are concerns that the state government has, then they need to report it, and those grievances will be looked into. Thank you very much, Anirban Banerjee, GD Bakshi, Major General GD Bakshi, for joining us. Thank you to Tamal, Shreyasi and Pratik Datta as well for getting us the details. We'll keep on getting you more reactions on this big story on the other side as well.